afternoon, everyone. We're back here at the live session of Copenhagen 2015. It is the compound men's and compound women's 1/16 elimination round. I am here, George Tekmitchov, with
the man of the people,
the myth, the legend, El Gato Grande, Okineko himself, Steve, the
man of the people,
Big Anderson. Cat. Big man of the people cat?
Big man of the people cat. I'm changing it up a little bit today.
And we're about to get underway. Here's our featured match coming up next. It's practice right now. It's the last end of practice between Roman Heffelfinger of Switzerland, Stefan Hansen of Denmark. Any predictions?
Fresh Prince of Denmark, I think, is going to have the advantage here. Obviously, the way he shot yesterday, he looks like he has an advantage over everyone. But he could get caught in a trap here if he doesn't focus on his current opponent.
Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit. What was your impression?
Well, Stefan's got this match first. Assuming he moves on, he'll be facing either Mike Schloesser or Peter Elzinga, the Dutchman. The winner of that match will likely move over here for our featured match. It's easy to look past your current opponent and think about one of those two, as they are, somewhat heavy hitters, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So Stefan's got to make sure he locks down here and gets the job done.
Let's look at some of the other matches taking place right now. Our top seed, Mr. Veerman, now comes in from the protected 8, as it were. The problem with that, of course, is that he hasn't shot up until now for blood.
No, this is his first go on the head-to-head eliminations.
And his opponent has. He's won 2 matches to get to this point. It's Adam Ravenscroft of GBR.
Yeah, I think that one could go as, what you might call an upset, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Ravenscroft take the win.
And if you're one of those people looking at the actual results and you happen to see that Adam Ravenscroft had a 142, keep in mind that's one of the high scores on the field because the weather was just horrendous during that round.
Yeah, so Adam's coming in with some strong shooting under his belt yesterday. We talked about it yesterday. It's advantageous to be able to have some early rounds as to kind of get the nerves out of you and have some feeling under you. And
you can see who he took out. He took out the great Kim Tae-yoon of Korea.
Yeah, a Korean shooter there. So he hasn't had easy matches. He started with Kevin Burry, the Swiss shooter, and who shot a huge score earlier in the year. He shot a 713. He'd never shot over 700 before in his life. And
wow.
Shoots a 713.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think that's still the only score over 700 he's got, but heck of a score there for him. So, yeah, we'll see. Moving back, Abhishek and Adam Ravenscroft. Abhishek shoots really well head-to-head.
Yeah.
He's a great team shooter. The Indian team is really super good.
Isn't it amazing how far they've come in a short time, relatively speaking?
They've spent some time out in Salt Lake with us.
Yes, they
done
did.
Some work out there. And I'm not surprised to see Abhishek of India in the number 1 seed.
Yeah. Well, and, he earned it. He deserved it, and he's got it. And now he's got himself having to warm up about as fast as it's possible to, because he's going to be shooting for score for the first time since qualification round.
Yeah, and we talked about the conditions. It's 100% different today than it was yesterday, but still, its temperatures are in the 60s here, around 16 to 17 Celsius.
Yeah, 17, 18 actually, I think, by now.
This is probably a normal GBR day for Adam Ravenscroft, and for Abhishek, it's definitely on the cold side.
Sure. But way more comfortable, no cold rain pouring from the heavens so far.
Nothing yet, and nothing on the radar that we have seen.
So earlier today, when the recurves were shooting, there was absolute blue sky, and right now we've got nice flat light. And a little more of a breeze than we had this morning, but still, Steve, I don't see this as a big aim-off breeze. I think you just get it on target and shoot.
Yeah, if you can hold it center, shoot it center here. Probably not going to move the arrow a whole lot at 50 meters, not for these guys at compound speeds. The only challenge is, the occasional breeze or gust, making it hard to aim.
So once again, we're going to have simultaneous shooting up until the finals this weekend, when the archery TV crew takes over and you get a, shall we say, more professional approach here. But right now, we'll be shooting at the same time. We won't be alternating. So just as we have been, we'll continue to follow the arrow-by-arrow blows for you here. Stefan Hansen, Roman Heffelfinger, about to shoot. As soon as I get the go signal, which means that the field of play is clear and the DOS is satisfied, safety is in place. Here we go in just a moment.
Yeah, a lot of great matches on the field. Looking down the brackets, if you're watching at home, take a look at.
Why don't you update some of those for us?
Yeah,
Just tell us some of the ones that you think are going to be particularly good. I think the obvious choice is one you and I just talked about.
Yeah, so we mentioned Abhishek Verma and Adam Ravenscroft.
And Steve, I'm going to call arrows while you go, so forgive me for interrupting.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Another interesting match. Gabriel Badenhorst against Demir Magazili.
That's a 10 from Stefan.
We have
And
Mario
a 10
Vavro.
X from his opponent.
Good start.
Roman. Good start.
Mario Vavro of Croatia against Ruben Blayendal of the Netherlands.
Ruben's an unflappable character, I think.
Yep. Easily the most exciting match on the field right now, I would say. Peter Elzinga, Mike Schlosser.
Which is kind of a coach versus student situation to a degree.
A little bit, yeah.
Another solid 10 from Stefan and another solid 10 from his opponent.
We have another great match with USA's Braden Galantine against India's Rajat Kahun.
Now, that won't be an easy one.
No, Rajat was a World Cup finalist last year.
Yep.
Robert Timms.
Braden's smart, though. Braden's smart enough not to take that lightly.
Yeah, Braden doesn't really take anything lightly.
No, he doesn't, does he? He's quite an intense character at times.
He is probably the most
and the
experienced.
10-10-10 for the archer from Switzerland.
Great start. Braden's probably the most experienced shooter on the field.
Watch for this. If Stefan is on cue here, he'll shoot 3 10s in the size of a dime, an American coin that's very small, but that is out the bottom. Door is open for Roman Heffelfinger of Switzerland to run the board if he so chooses, because Stefan Hansen just showed a crack in the Viking armor.
Yeah, takes an early lead, which he absolutely needed to do.
Yeah, that's a solid way to rattle your opponent a bit.
Yeah, and with Stefan, you give him a lead and he gets some momentum. He's a high energy shooter.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to get it back, but if you can nip him early on, you got a shot to hold on.
Well, we are looking at our live feed again. Thank you, Juan Carlos Holgado, for fixing the computer. And I guess the first thing to do is to see if we can get a shout out from each country that's checked in right now. Where are you from? And show us, and we'll give you a shout out back here on our live webcast. Also, we'll be looking for your questions, and we'll be trying to answer those as we go along. If you ask a good question, or even not such a good question, we'll try to give you an answer.
Yeah, give us your questions, comments, rude remarks, whatever you have for us.
And we may have some special guests lined up this afternoon. You never know what the internet might find.
I don't know who might stop by. We haven't lined anything up officially, but we never have a hard time finding people.
This is FPS Russia. We are here on YouTube, and we are presenting from World Championships. Okay, maybe not. I just got a look from the... I know that look. I know that look. We're going to have fun. It's all good. Well, it's all about scoring as high as you can, as soon as you can, to try to keep the match ahead of your opponent.
All right, I'm seeing here we have comments rolling in from Sweden, Norway, Philippines, Netherlands, Ireland, Netherlands again, Australia. We have Quentin Barrere, hi GT from France for me. We also have Perth, Australia. I believe we saw you watching yesterday, Josh. If that's if I'm saying your name right.
Hi France, hi Perth.
Finland,
Thanks
India.
for joining us. Happy you're here. Hope you're having a good time watching. We're certainly having a better time today than yesterday. And most importantly, I saved a chocolate cookie for Juan Carlos.
We didn't steal them all.
There's a cookie here. It's for you. It's all yours. He's waving us off. He's watching his girlish figure. All right.
Quentin says you're better with the real voice. Maybe lay off the FPS Russia.
Okay, I don't need that much encouragement. I got it. Let's take a look at what's happening with the ladies right now. World number 1, Sarah Lopez, has a 30, 10-10-10, against Sakineh Gansapur of Iran. Inge van Kaspel of Netherlands also has a 30. So does Yassim Bostan of Turkey. Runa Greideland and Jyothi Venom of India have a draw at 29 points each. Irina Markovic has a 1-point deficit against Toya Cern of Slovenia. Toya started with a 30. Solid shooting.
Yeah, good start there for Toya.
Yes, sir.
She's one who I think could go all the way.
Absolutely. Alejandra Osquiano of Colombia has a 1-point deficit versus the two-time world champion Albina Loganova. American archer Crystal Galvin has a 29 to her opponent's 25. Her opponent is Danny Brown, the Paralympic champion.
Yeah, and Crystal, top American shooter this year, while her and Jamie Vanetta could fight for that title, but Crystal's been shooting really strong, and I think she's ready and confident for this event. These are conditions that really suit her. She likes a little bit of wind, and she's a good wind shooter.
Linda Ochoa trailing by 1 point. Okay, back onto our match right now, and Roman is keeping the pressure up on Stefan. He's got another point up on the board ahead of Stefan. This could be very well playing out the way you might have predicted here, Steve.
It's a bit of a trap match, and now at this point...
That's an X dead center from Stefan, so he's bearing down a bit perhaps.
For Roman...
Roman just needs to stay on it.
He's got the knife in the back. He's got to...
Oh, 9.
He's got to keep the foot on the gas,
yeah,
per se.
It's a 1 point difference in favor of Roman right now. Stefan can turn this around pretty quickly.
And some guys... they get uncomfortable holding the lead,
sure,
and they start to tighten up a little bit. Sometimes you just, what I try to tell people is you got to be okay with shooting a good score.
Sure.
It's exciting, and yeah, you might have some pressure come on you, but
another 10 from Roman. So we call that comfort zone in recurve. I'm sure it's the same thing in compound, is it not?
Yeah, you can't be afraid that you might do something cool.
I remember the first time I broke 340 at 50 meters with a recurve bow, and I just suddenly the pressure just felt unbearable. I can relate to shooting above your perceived level, because I was always like about a 330, 335 kind of guy, shooting a recurve at 50, and now, here I'm looking, staring down the barrel of a 340, and I'm like, holy smokes.
Yeah, I might do something cool,
Yeah, and that's worse pressure.
Yeah, and for most people, who shoot archery long enough, they figure out once they start shooting a score in practice, it becomes a lot easier.
Let's just take a look at a few more of the scores before they get updated. Just going to pick out a couple here. Sandrine Van Dionant and Katarzyna Slanska of Poland tied at 28 each. Naomi Jones of GBR and Natalia Avdieva of Russian Federation, 29 to 29. Tanya Jensen of Denmark had a 30. And so on to the compound men, and Abhishek Virma of India started out with a 30, as you might expect.
George, we've got a good question here from Christopher S. He says, George, I have a question to you. What do you remember of Martinez Grov? He placed 4th in Barcelona.
Yeah, Martinez Grov. Yeah.
Thanks for the pronunciation.
It's okay. So, of course, I remember Martinez. Martinez was one of the finest archers ever from Norway. The problem is, like some other countries. Ooh, we're on TV. Thanks, Juan Carlos. Martinez, by the way, a good friend and a great guy. He had all the potential in the world, but I'll be blunt and say I don't think he got the support that he needed to fulfill that potential, because his federation was one of those federations that was pushing for younger shooters to come in, and so Martinez lost opportunities to compete at certain events. They chose not to send him even though he was fully qualified, and that's got to quell your competitive spirit after a while.
Yeah, I can't say I really understand that. I mean, yeah, it's great to develop young talent, but not on the world's biggest stage. They need to earn their keep.
By the way, I found out the mystery of why Larry Godfrey's not here. Apparently his wife's expecting, and very soon, so congratulations. Best of luck, and sorry you're not here, Larry. We were looking forward to talking to you some more, but we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, we've seen with some countries like Turkey who have yet to really have any podium success, but they're continually getting their archers to the events. They have the full support of their federation.
Are you talking compound or recurve?
I'm talking compound here, from what I'm seeing, and they keep getting better and better every tournament. We've talked about Yassine Boston, who a young shooter. She's been at every event. They seem to keep their team intact throughout the year, whereas a lot of teams will have an individual selection for every World Cup event. And Yassine continues to climb, and so do the rest of her teammates.
No doubt. Let's cherry pick a few more matches here. We were talking earlier about Abhishek Virma and Adam Ravenscroft. Abhishek Virma with a 1 point lead right now.
I know we've got a lot of listeners from India. Let's check on Rajat's score if we can.
Will do. Let's give us a second for it to update. Here we go. 60 points. Dead center Rajat Chauhan of India, he has that only yields him a 1-point lead over Braden Galantine, though.
Yeah, that's unfortunately usually you have to shoot a 60 to maintain a lead over Braden.
So the other match that's kind of interesting, this is really fascinating. Peter Elzinga has a 1-point advantage over Mike Schloesser. 59-58. Back in action on our marquee match. Target 1, Stefan Hansen. Target 2, Roman Heffelfinger. Stefan just popped a 9, and Roman, it's a 9 just out.
Just
opportunity
off.
there, but just out. I wouldn't aim off if I were Roman.
Nope, this is a straight-up hold.
Yep. But he shot that one on the left. I wonder if he shaded it just a skosh.
You know,
Stefan just nailed one.
It could be a situation where he spent the last 3 days holding off to the left.
Oh, my word, you're not kidding.
And now he's just
Everybody did. There's a 10, X-ring.
Yep.
That'll play. It's 1 point up for Roman. The question now is, can he handle the pressure? Can he handle the pressure of being in the lead, like you alluded to earlier, Steve? Some guys just aren't comfortable there. I don't know if Roman is or not, but I know that I know Stefan is, and he just shot a 10. So Roman needs another 10 here to keep the lead. Here we go. Oh, not. Okay, so we have a draw.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, you want to, if you liken this to a basketball game, you want to start fast and finish fast each half. So what we always tried to do when I was playing hoops was get a good start the first 4 minutes, and then going into the second half, or finishing the first half, the last 4 minutes, you want to have a really good finish. And then the same in the second half, a good start to the first 4 minutes. Now, in archery, you know, you might look at that as this is somewhat of the halfway point, and the fourth end is really pivotal, because if an archer has a 2-point lead after the
It's
fourth,
momentum.
yeah, if you have a 2-point lead after the fourth end, you know 3 arrows left. Really, all you got to do is shoot gold. You're going to get a 10, so it's a comforting thing. But for these two to be at a draw going into the fourth, this one's pivotal. I think this one decides it.
Hey, you know, I've been talking about Martin Damsbo potentially being in the finals, but he's got to get past Amir Kazimpour of Iran, and they were drawn 58 all in the last as of the last end.
Yeah, and Amir's a good shooter. I've seen some huge
Really good
scores
shooter.
come out of there. Their scores tend to go up and down significantly.
Yeah.
But you look at Shanghai, the whole Iranian team was over 700 points.
Yeah, the Iranians are nothing to be trifled with when it comes to shooting high scores. They're really solid when they get their head down, and I think it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah.
So if you could move down a little bit to make some room for the 1 or 2 people who still want to find a seat, we would be very grateful. Thank you.
Sarah Lopez was clean so far, and in just a few moments here, I'm going to flip the scope over. I got her target in sight. Unfortunately, the monitor's in the way. I'm going to have to reconfigure this setup.
So these 2 archers in our featured match.
That's why I've got binoculars. Hang on a second here. It looks good for her to... You know, I'm thinking that she's got herself a perfect score so far. 90 points, I believe, is what we will see when Sarah Lopez's score gets updated, Steve. Solid.
Yeah, talking to Sarah this week, I think, you know, she's got her shooting where it needs to be, technique-wise. She's really embracing the mental side of this, you know. And
she looks relaxed, too.
Yeah, she's embraced that, the mental side of this, which is so important. She knows how to approach the tournament in a whole. She knows how to approach each end. She's really, I think, almost unbeatable right now.
Well, you know,
I don't want to curse her with that, but
no, but yeah, but you know, let's face it. At this level, if the wind's not blowing, pretty much you're looking at an even match with equipment for the most part. I mean, let's be fair.
yeah.
And then you're looking at an even match with technique, because most people have technique now. So what is left?
That 90% mental game.
That's it. And that's everything.
Yeah.
That's everything.
I mean, all these archers, no one's showing up with poor gear.
Now,
And-
hey, 90 points there. I think it might be the only one on the field.
And no one's showing up with no one in this round doesn't have the ability to hit 10s. So it really just comes down to mental approach.
That's it. 90 points is the only one on the field, except for, wait for it, your roommate, his opponent, Rajat Chauhan.
Braden with a 89-90 deficit to
Rajat's got a 90 going right now, and so does Sarah Lopez.
Got another question here. GT and Steve, do you think archery athletes should do more strength and conditioning to combat fatigue across a week-long competition like this?
Yes, but mostly to give you more confidence as much as anything else.
Yeah, I think the stronger you are, the better.
Yep, gives you more confidence, that's it.
Yeah, I don't think this is a game where you really need to be athletic or strong. It's not a sport of athleticism.
Compound's a good equalizer. Recurve a little more, but still,
Yeah.
It's not about how fast you are, how strong you are. It's about how smart you are.
Right. I mean, strength on the recurve side definitely helps. But out here, you don't have to be big, strong, fast. They don't take 40-yard dash times or
10 points for Roman.
Do a test on the bench press
10
to
points
see
for
who's going to
Stefan.
make the archery team.
Yep, exactly. Well, actually, we used to have a 12-minute test. Had to run a certain distance in 12 minutes if you wanted to be on the U.S. archery team.
I guess that's just to make sure you guys are doing something there in Chula Vista at the OTC.
Exactly. Unfortunately, I ran my first one at 9,000 feet altitude. I thought I was going to die. All right, pair of 10s from Stefan Hansen, pair of 10s from Ref. Hey, I'm impressed with Roman. I am impressed with Roman Hafelfinger from the Swiss team. He is holding his own.
Yeah, he's doing what he needs to do.
This is pressure. And it's a student of Juan Carlos Holgado, baby. Juan Carlos is all proud. You know, he's all like, yes. He's got a big smile on his face. And he is happy. And 10-10-10. And they are even. This is great. 3 arrows to go. We might see a shoot-off here.
Yeah, Stefan threw some big English on that last shot. He
Danish.
gave it the onion, yeah.
Danish.
Yeah, so spun it in there, I suppose.
It had one of those O's with a line through it, I think.
Right.
Yeah. If we are hearing the audio feed, we may learn some new words out of Stefan. I don't know how to swear in Danish. So.
I don't either. He's a very animated character.
He is an animated character. He's like a mini Galantine.
They're similar in a lot of ways. Yeah. They both high energy shooters.
Both archers go 10-10-10, nothing to separate them. They both
So a
have
dead even draw. Let's
117 points.
let's wait here as some of the scores come in. We get the quick update on our two featured shooters. They come up right away on the board as they have someone here handling the electronic scoring, which you probably see there at home.
The other ones have to be punched in manually when the archers get to the target. So that's why there's a bit of delay. Otherwise, we'd be more than happy to tell you right away who's shot what. I'm going to throw an eyeball on Sarah Lopez's target, see if she's got that 90 up to a 120, and I would say no, she's down one.
She's got another question here. Is it normal that the archers shoot at their practice targets? Yes, it is. Generally, if the target face isn't compromised, if the scoring lines aren't shot up to the point that it could be difficult to call an arrow that's close, they just remain there with the targets.
But they do one thing to make sure.
They mark the arrow holes.
Yep, they mark the arrow holes in case of a pass-through.
Yeah, and with the amount of rain we've had, a pass-through is definitely possible. We haven't seen any with these Danage targets. They've done well the whole weekend.
Yeah, magnificent target butts, the Danage dominoes, made by our good friend Eric Kornbeck, who's done so much in the sport with the results system as well. You know, he's created that domino results system that's used at these events, and it's a wired system, so it's generally pretty reliable. You know, you don't have to worry about a Wi-Fi signal, but it has its downside. There's a lot of cable involved, so it's a balancing act, right?
Yeah, there's actually been times, I believe, where archers have, you know, accidentally misfired an arrow and shot the cable. It did happen once.
Arizona Cup.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're
We had an interesting issue at one of the USAT events this year where the whole system went down because an archer wanted to plug in their iPhone. Unplugged the system, plugged in their iPhone.
Brilliant.
And, threw off everything.
You know, if that archer is listening to this right now, you can imagine what they think. Oh.
Let's get some updates here. Let's take a look at that Braden Galantine score. Rajat Kaham.
I think that, I'm getting a feeling that Braden might be in trouble here.
Yeah, Braden at 116, Rajat at 119. Looks like he's
3-point difference with one end to go.
Yeah, generally you're not going to give up 3 points over 3 arrows.
That hurts.
That doesn't really
unless Rajat just blows up on the last 3 shots.
Yeah.
There's, there is always the flying body tackle.
It's possible. It's possible. A Nancy Kerrigan situation.
No. Would never even suggest such a thing. Sarah Lopez with a 119, and that's a 9-point advantage on her opponent. That's huge. 5-point advantage for Inga van Kaspel. 3-point lead for Yasim Bostan of Turkey. 2-point lead for Ms. Venom of India, Jyoti Venom. 1-point lead for Toya Cern of Slovenia. So that's a close match with Irina Markovic, Steve.
Yeah. And we got some more good questions coming in here.
Yeah.
One I'm seeing here. Where'd I go with that? There's 2 good ones. First one, why is Korea so much ahead in recurve but not in compound? So I'll answer that.
How about right after this last end?
Yeah, we'll get to that one. This is kind of an exciting end.
Okay, that's a 9. Opportunity for Roman. 10.
Capitalized right there.
Here comes Stefan.
Stefan's making a side.
Okay, Roman's going to shoot first. Target 2.
Yeah, they're both coming to full
They're
draw.
coming to full draw at the same time. This is going to be almost simultaneous. Okay, that's a 10 from Stefan. Here comes Roman. He needs to cut this thing loose strong. 9.
And they're even against
Tied
Stefan.
score, final arrow.
Stefan made another side adjustment even after shooting the
Tied score, final arrow.
This is everything we want on our featured
Yeah,
match.
I know. I can't take the pressure.
Both archers laying down there. They're waiting. It looks like.
Well, they're not
guess
waiting
they're-
for the wind.
yeah.
They're just, you know what they are.
They're thinking things through.
50 seconds on the clock. 48. 45. 40 seconds left. Stefan with a 10. Oh, Roman with an 8. Stefan Hansen does it. Stefan Hansen does it.
Pressure got to Roman there.
And it didn't get to Stefan. He finished the way he should. That was magnificent competition.
Yep.
Right down to the last arrow. Both of these guys should be proud, but I know that Roman's got to be really disappointed with that last shot.
Got to be bummed. That was. He had the opportunity there.
Ouch, ouch, ouch. But, hey, Stefan came through in a pinch, huh?
He did. He made it happen.
He really did.
So going back, we had the question, why is Korea so dominant in recurve but not in compound? It's pretty much simple math. I mean, the recurve shooters, if they're shooting for, they're shooting to try to get as many 10s as possible. The recurve world record is about 40. Well, in the current 720 round, it's 699, I believe. So they're 21 points off a perfect. So there's a lot of room for those guys to kind of run away with it. Whereas in compound, everyone is so close to shooting perfect scores as is. We're already bumping up against the ceiling.
That's too technical of an answer. You want a more simple answer?
Let's hear what you got.
Korea has devoted 100% of its resources to recurve archery for 30 years and 10% of the resources to compound archery for 18 months. And look how far they've come in 18 months.
And they'll come far, but they'll never be the dominance they have on the recurve.
Oh, don't say never. Do not say never.
Scores are too close.
You
to
have
perfect.
no idea what you're fooling with, my friend.
We know you love Korea, George.
No.
There's just no room to work.
I have no bias toward Korea. I'm telling you, you're looking at a machine that is capable of doing whatever they want to do in this sport if they put their mind to it. Once it becomes an Olympic sport, look out.
Yeah, there's no room for them to go. In the current 50-meter event, we're already too close to perfect. Too many guys are shooting perfect scores.
It is going to happen. The Koreans are going to become a dominant force. But of course, I understand your point of view.
Right, they can't play defense. If I shoot a 150, I'm okay. You know, I don't think anyone's really sweating anything.
Also on 32, Robert Timms of Australia and Jorge Jimenez of El Salvador.
Let's see what kind of reaction we got to that.
Yeah, well, you know, Steve's passionate.
Let's give you some results, though, shall we? Sarah,
Here's a good one from CJC83. Korean recurve archers can actually earn a lot of money, unlike many others. Yeah, they're very well supported and rewarded for what they do.
Well, that's how it should be. You know, I mean, I'd love for not just recurve, but any compound shooter that picks it up, I'd love for them to have the opportunities that golfers have. that tennis players have.
Yeah.
You know, one of my best friends, as you know, is Jay Bars.
Right.
What a lot of people don't realize is Jay is a super talented golfer, super talented tennis player. Could have made a living at any of those, right? Chose archery, became the Olympic gold medalist back in '88. But he would have been a top 100 golfer. Even now, he would have been a top 100 golfer if he spent that same energy on golf. I have no doubt in my mind. I know that's big talk, right? But he would have made $500,000 a year as a top 100 golfer.
Yeah, Jay has the mindset to do about anything he wants as well as he wants.
Yep.
He's kind of one of those special people in that regard.
Top 100 archer isn't going to make, any money.
Now, let's see what we got for scores here as
Let's
final
do.
tallies have rolled in.
Good call. We've got a victory for Sarah Lopez, overwhelmingly 11-point victory. Victory for Inga van Kaspel, so she'll come up against Sarah. We've got a victory for Yasim Bostan by 2 points. Victory for Jyothi Venom of India. Victory for Toya Cern of Slovenia. Brady will be happy to see that. Alejandra Usquiano of Colombia with a victory by 1 point over Albina Loganova. I remember Alejandra wearing a backpack with rocks in it at one of the tournaments where it was Bellic, I think, yeah.
Yep.
All the Colombian girls were wearing rocks in backpacks because it was just so windy, and it worked.
Just trying to anchor down in that wind.
It actually worked. Let's see. Big win for Crystal Gowan of the United States. 10-point victory over Danny Brown.
Yeah.
A certain Ms. Linda Ochoa, or a Mrs. Linda Ochoa Anderson, has won her match by 2 points.
Yeah, she started out trailing, so
I guess you can stay here for a while.
yeah, I'll be here
All right.
for the duration.
Yes.
She'll be all right without me.
Yeah, sure. It's a 8-point win for Amélie Saint-Senon of France versus Janine Meissner of Germany.
And not to jump ahead, George, but
Yeah.
we've got a shoot-off between Abhishek Verma and Adam Ravenscroft.
Oh,
so
good call. Let's do just that. We actually have 2 shoot-offs. Actually, 4 shoot-offs. Oh, look at this. Let's jump right to the shoot-offs, because if people really want to know the results for their favorite shooter, remember you can find that with a link right here on the page that you're looking at. Virma, Mr. Abhishek Virma versus Adam Ravenscroft, target 23. And we're going to try to throw an eyeball on that for you. Almost there, almost in position. Okay, here we go. So Mr. Virma is on the left of that target, Mr. Abhishek Virma, and Adam Ravenscroft is on the right side. Target 23, here they go. Steve, if you can throw an eyeball on the shooters, let me know who shot first. That would be awesome, if you can tell. Okay, Mr. Ravenscroft with a
shot,
10.
And Abhishek let down.
Mr.
He's
Abhishek hasn't shot yet.
He's on screen now, and he didn't wait long to draw back again.
On target 24, victory for Albertus Cornelius over Pat Larson. They both shot at 10, but Mr. Cornelius closer to center.
And
Mr. Virma's done. Done. Shot a 9.
Ravenscroft takes the win.
You betcha.
And that was one we thought could get away from Abhishek.
You know, number 1 seed is now out. What was the ranking for our man from GBR? Do you have that?
Ravenscroft was 33.
So 33 takes out 1. That, how do you feel about that? I mean, you can't say that he didn't shoot well. They brought it right to a shoot-off.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm not surprised. Despite how well you rank, the men's compound event is so competitive right now. When you hit the second round, there's no guaranteed matches.
Target 36, I can't call from here. It's too far away, and the arrows are too close to each other, distance-wise from the center. So we'll wait for the judge's call. I'm gonna suggest on target 36. I'm going to suggest the winner of that match might be Dietmar Trillis, and his opponent was Andres Cardonia. Victory for Kim Jong-ho of Korea, back on 38. Ravencroft is official. Let's check targets 24 here.
Andres Cardona of Colombia is through. And we look for target 24.
Oh, I think Pat Larson's done.
Yeah, we'd seen
I think
that
Albertus Cornelius has beaten Pat Larson.
So the one of the Denmark shooters falling.
So now we just need to know about Dietmar versus Camilo. Camilo Cardona of Colombia versus Dietmar Trillis, the 2007 world champion. Dietmar, ideally suited style-wise. Guess what? Mr. Cornelius is confirmed, has beaten Pat Larson. We're just waiting on the call for Dietmar Trillis versus Andres Cardona. I mentioned earlier it was too close to call from my position. The judge is taking a close look with the calipers there. And we'll just wait for that patiently as the judge does their job.
So as we look that one over, we have another question from Random Stacker SC. Hey, GT and Steve, do you know what the pros do when they get time to shoot for, say, a week? So say we have a little bit of time off. Extra physical training, about how much more? When I have some time off away, generally I like to put the bow down for a little while. I don't want to get burnt out. I don't want to shoot too much. And when you're traveling to a lot of these events, that can easily happen. But at the same time, you want to stay strong behind the strings. So try to shoot enough to maintain some technique and not let the weight of the bow start causing me issues in my shoulders or elbow. It is definitely a good time to do some extra running or weightlifting if that's what you do. That way the soreness will be gone by the time you start shooting again. But I don't, I don't do anything special just because I've got a week off. Generally, I just try to enjoy my week off.
In the old days, you'd see the pro staff guys, or pro shooter guys who'd lost doing 24-ounce regressive curls.
Yes.
With beer.
Yes.
Not anymore.
No, they tend to kind of stay away from that.
Well, the ones who did have kind of fallen away from the scene.
So did we get a call yet on the
No, we're waiting for it to pop up here. Sorry about that.
We have not had anything yet on Camilo and Dietmar's arrows.
Well, we're not the highest priority for the results team right here, right now either.
No, they have things to do.
They are really busy. It's like juggling chainsaws back there.
And I'm looking over there. I don't see either one of them exiting the shooting line either.
No. I'm sure we'll get the word soon, but it's not on the electronic system right this second. We do have target assignments for the upcoming. It's going to be Stefan Hansen versus Mike Schloesser for our marquee match.
That'll be a good one. A repeat of the Indoor World Cup final this year where Mikey absolutely stomped Stefan.
If you're Stefan Hansen, you've got an advantage because of the sheer fact that you're on the same target all this time.
Yeah, Stefan's been down here the whole time. It is going to be a little different dynamic for the wind just because there is a bit of a shelter from this
and
tent.
A tree behind us, and there's a crowd behind the shooters. So not just a different dynamic from the effect of the wind, but also what you can feel.
Yeah, but Mikey's got a little advantage being he is probably the best archer in the world right now.
Yeah, that's arguably true.
Hard to say the guy who has the indoor and outdoor world record and is the current world champion is not the best one on the field.
Won't argue that one.
Nope.
Sarah Lopez will be up against Inga Van Kaspel. Jyothi Venom of India will face Yasim Bostan of Turkey. Toya Cern of Slovenia up against Alejandra Usquiano of Colombia. Linda Ochoa will face Crystal Galvin of the United States of America.
Yeah, my wife and Crystal, they're both good friends. If Rich Galvin is at home watching, another good friend of mine and my golf instructor. How you doing, Rich?
Amélie Sansoneau of France versus Andrea Marcos of Spain. Maria Vinogradova of Russian Federation versus Sarah Soneshin of Denmark. And then we've got Kim Yoon-hee of Korea versus the great Sandrine Van Dionant of France. Natalia Avdieva of Russia versus Tanya Jensen of Denmark. For the men, it's Albertus Cornelius of South Africa versus Adam Ravenscroft. It's Demir Emagakli of Turkey versus Roberto Hernandez of El Salvador.
That could be a really good match.
Yes, I'm thinking that is going to be the case. Mario Vavro of Croatia will face Pat Rue of South Africa. Robert Timms of Australia. Hi, everybody in Australia and New Zealand. Will be facing Rajat Chauhan of India. Chris Perkins of Canada, former world champion, faces his teammate, Kevin Tatterin.
That's an interesting one.
Sad bracket for those guys because Kevin's a solid shooter, and he knows these guys know each other so well. It'll be interesting to see, like you said.
Yeah, the Dutch guys are all in the same bracket as well. So.
And then we've got Amir Kazempour of Iran versus Andres Cardona, and Kim Jong-ho of Korea versus Daniel Munoz of Colombia. I, therefore, regret to say that our friend Dietmar Trillis has stepped down. He's done.
Yes. Yep. So we got another good question here, and George, I'll let you answer this one. Why do recurvers weight their bows with the weight forward to move down and to move forward and down after the shot breaks, and compounders load the weight on the back bar? I mean, it has something to do with holding weight. Do you want to kind of explain the difference there?
Yeah, there are two factors. The biggest one is that the way recurve bows are balanced, the thing will smack you in the nose if you don't have a stabilizer on it with a forward bias. But in reality, what you want is, with the recurve, because there's no feedback system, the limbs have to be timed in a particular way to work well with the asymmetric hold of your fingers and the pressure of your grip. It all works as a system. So if you see somebody shoot a recurve bow and the limbs kind of flop back and forth after the shot, some of that can be from tiller, some of that can be from hand pressure on the grip, some of that can be from the balance on the stabilizer. All of it has to do, however, with the feel that you want at full draw. And it's true for the compounds as well, right, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, where we're not holding as much weight, I think some of that more rearward stabilizer weight helps us keep the bow not balanced per se, but aiming in a manner that's predictable.
But it's a trend that we've seen emerge more strongly in the last, say, 8 years.
Yeah, as stiffer stabilizer bars have become available with higher modulus carbon, some really, really high-end carbon, expensive stuff to manufacture.
Yeah.
We've seen people move to more weight simply because the bars can handle it.
But we're also seeing the rear bar, or the one toward the archer, and that wasn't there years ago. People didn't set them up that way. What's changed, do you suppose?
Yeah, they either didn't use it or they had it straight out to the side simply to offset the
didn't
weight.
Use it back then.
Yeah.
You know, just a front rod is all most compound guys use. Has it just gotten more sophisticated? People gotten smarter about how they do what they do?
Yeah, I guess. You know, some of the understandings that balancing the bow isn't really ideal. I don't try to set my bow up to where it's balanced, nor does it sit level in my hand. I actually have to fight my bow a little bit to the right to keep the bubble level, and I do that so that I have a predictable bow. I don't, contrary to popular belief, the best archers in the world don't just sit there and hold in the middle of the target the whole time. They move around too. They're just a little better at executing. So I try to set up a bow to where it'll move as slow as I can get it to move and as predictable as I can get it to move. If I have one that will jump around on me in directions that I don't foresee, it makes it really hard to shoot. But if I know, it's going to do slow figure eights or whatever it might do as I'm aiming, that's the ideal setup for me. I want one that's predictable.
That's a great insight. Thank you, Steve. Okay. Body language, what do you see?
Mikey's normal. Mikey's subdued. Stefan was sitting there doing some deep thought, it looked like. So we'll see what happens here. It's going to be telling. Mike is so strong. In Antalya, he shot 4 straight matches, and he went 150, 149, 149, 149.
Look at him. He looks like he's in a practice session. Just steps up there, pulls to full draw, cuts the shot loose, boom, 10, X ring.
Almost dead center.
Stefan's still holding.
Yeah, and Mike's got number 2 loaded
Stefan's
up.
got a 10.
Stefan, another one. A little closer than Mike's.
Stefan's got a 10. Mike has a 10. They're both X's. And a 9 for
just
Mike.
Off.
Yeah, just out. It's not the wind, because the wind was going the other way. If he aimed off, he aimed up the pro side, and it went right there.
Yep.
And there's Stefan with an X. He's got a 1-point advantage. And let's not forget, this is Stefan's house right now. He's been here how many matches? 4 in a row?
Yeah, he's had all his matches here, so,
yeah, so
he's comfortable here. He's got the crowd behind him.
Mike's got a 10, 9.
Yep.
Stefan's looking for 30. And he didn't get it. We have a tie.
Tried to give the bow a toss, give it the onion, and get it up in there, but didn't make it happen.
So he threw a little Danish on that shot? Is that what happened?
Danish,
I
yes.
see.
We got some comments coming in. One of them, Steve, seems like you got your predictions wrong. Yes, I did. Next comment, thanks GT and Steve. It's great to be able to interact with such knowledgeable commentators. Well, we got you fooled, but thank you. And the field, we got some of the women archers, some of the men's archers on the far side here, taken down to the end of the clock. Only 20 seconds left, and still got a few on the field.
I'm going to point out one here says picture quality really poor in the moment. Now that's going to be your local connection if you're seeing that.
So 3 arrows.
Because, if you look at this on a fast connection, it's really, really HD quality. And if YouTube will automatically throttle down the bandwidth if it doesn't like what it's seeing in terms of your internet connection. So I'm no expert, but I do know that because it's happened to me.
Yeah, maybe you can hit the settings gear down at the bottom right of your
It's
screen.
set to automatic if you just leave it at the native setting. So you might want to just take it to a setting you can live with and leave it there if you have a slower connection.
Yep.
If you're on dial-up, we can't help you.
Yeah, because what we're seeing here, we can call the arrows. It's an incredibly crisp picture.
Yeah, it's kind of remarkable. There's a question that just came up. Does that...
I'm shooting compound indoor and recurve outdoor, and I see how good you can be to shoot both. What do you guys think?
Well, I'll say yes, and I'll say why. Petra Eriksson, who lives not far from here. Petra is the greatest female archer, in my opinion, in the last 50 years. World champion with compound, world champion with recurve. She set world records with both bows, some of which still stand. Petra proved that you can shoot a compound and a recurve at a high level. Another great shooter doing the same thing was Butch Johnson. Butch Johnson shot compound and recurve to the highest possible levels. He did it with both fingers and release in the case of the compound. But the one thing that Butch did that was a little different than most other people who've made this attempt is he didn't try to make the recurve feel like a recurve. He set it up to make it feel like a compound bow when he started shooting at the Olympic level in 1992. He put the big back weight on the bottom of the bow and a single front bar and a Sherlock sight, which at the time was a boat anchor in 1992. So he set it up to feel like a compound bow. However, Petra shot a more canonical setup. She shot a real honest-to-goodness recurve, and she shot a real honest-to-goodness compound. And Petra's a natural shot. I handed her an H&K assault rifle back in 10, 15 years ago. She'd never shot one before, and she held a 1-minute group at 200 meters, first time behind a rifle.
Meaning a group about 2 inches.
Yeah, that's right. So you can teach some people some stuff, but some people are just natural.
Right, and I would think if you're going to take the approach of shooting both recurve and compound, shooting compound indoor makes sense. At least for us in the U.S., you don't see a whole lot of recurve shooters competing indoors, nor will you find a whole lot of competition. So that's a good time to pick up the compound and maybe go to some of those local events and some of the bigger national events indoors, and then come outdoor season when some of those opportunities open up for a recurve, you can switch back.
Yeah, some of it depends on how much time and motivation you have.
Yeah,
too.
it's probably going to be tough to be elite level at either one.
Right.
But if you're doing this for the love of the sport, there's nothing wrong with that.
Difficult, not impossible, as they said in The Godfather.
It's difficult, but not impossible to be good at either one individually.
We're back, and Mike with a dead center X, and a 10 for Stefan.
Really relaxed shot for him there.
Mr. Schloesser is unflappable. 10 points.
Should be pointed out that Mikey is shooting an ungodly amount of weight on the front of his stabilizer. He's got 32 ounces on that.
10 points, X-ring. We're looking at mirror images of the target here. I mean, these guys are, this is the pinnacle.
Yep.
This is right there.
This is
Steve Anderson territory.
Well, these are two of the
Mike
the
with
most
a 10-10-10.
Two of the most talented shooters in the world here, and two of the young up-and-comers. You're probably going to see them for a long, long time.
Here comes Stefan. Needs a 10 here.
He lets down.
He knows he needs a 10 here.
You don't see him let down too often, so
Yeah.
must have been a good bail out there.
Always tell my shooters when I'm coaching, if they let down, good shot, because it's probably the better decision if there's time. And there is 44 seconds, 43. 10-10-10. Both of them with a 10-10-10. Hear that crowd in the back? I hope you can hear the crowd in the background. People love it when they see perfect scores on the board. Big smile from Emil Kusters out there, the coach for Mike Schloesser on this field of play. A little more subdued look on the face of the Danish guys. They're keeping it, on the low queue here.
Yeah, and we should point out that Stefan is the only Danish archer left on the men's side.
Yeah, Pat's out, and Martin went out.
Martin's
and
out.
so my predictions weren't right, as some of you seem to enjoy pointing out on their comments.
Yeah, I had Martin and Braden facing off in the semis, and neither of them are alive anymore.
Well, we don't know any more about this in the end than you guys out there, so
Yeah,
we just get to say what we think.
We don't even have a delay.
That's right. Some nice comments there about Petra up above. She's a natural for sure. There's no doubt about that. She was the queen of our sport.
Got someone,
Still is.
Urban Archery 26, I assume maybe from the Australia Urban Archery, pointing out this could have been the gold medal match. And yeah, they're right. These
Yeah,
two,
in fact, we talked about this. It's probably Marcus back there. No, I think he posts under his own name, so it's somebody else from Urban. But we're really appreciating what we're seeing here right now, and we're very lucky to have it because sometimes at World Championships, sometimes the final medal matches aren't what you were hoping for.
No, and this one, as you say, it could have been a gold medal match. It's a shame they have to meet this early, but you're going to have to beat everyone to win. So
let's have a look at some of the results here. Sarah Lopez.
Yeah, Sarah Lopez, 58-54 lead over Inga van Kaspel, one of the top shooters from the Netherlands.
Jyothi Venom with a 58-56 lead over the very talented Yasim Bostan of Turkey.
Toya Chernay trailing Alejandro Isquiano, 55-58.
Tied score between your friends Crystal Galvin and your wife Linda Ochoa.
Yeah, 58-58, and they hate shooting off against each other as they're good friends, and they always end up in the same side of the bracket. It always happens, so never fails. 58-58 for them, and we'll see what becomes of it.
Maria Vinogradova with a 2-point lead over Sarah Sonnesen of Denmark.
Kim Yoon-hee with a 2-point lead over Sandrine Vendianat of France.
Tanya Jensen with a 1-point lead over Natalia Avdieva of Russia.
And Adam Ravenscroft keeping the good shooting rolling against the man with the most distinguished name, Albertus Cornelis of South Africa.
Perfect score on the field of play for Demir Amagakli of Turkey, 60 points versus 58 from the best man, Roberto Hernandez.
Yeah, and here we go with the third in. So
okay, other leaders, Mario Vavro, Raja Chauhan. Kevin Tatteran's got a 1-point lead on Chris Perkins. We're back in action. Stefan Hansen just reached full draw. I think Mike Schloesser is going to shoot first. 9 for Hansen and a 10 for Mr. Schloesser.
And it looks like we did, in fact, have Marcus commenting for us.
Well, that's great. Always nice to have a great guy like Marcus to give us his feedback as well. There's a 10. We've got a 10 and a 9 from both of these guys. We've still got a draw.
And they're shooting really identical arrows the whole way through.
Yeah,
too.
Mike had a great opportunity there. If he just there's another 10, and I'll bet we'll see the same from Steve right now.
And I want to point out that Mikey had cut loose his last arrow. He had 73 seconds left on the clock, so
he's not wasting any time.
He's motoring through, and that's typical of Mikey. Watching him in Vegas.
Yeah, why waste time?
Yeah, when he won Vegas, he was shooting at about 40 seconds.
We've got a draw at 9 arrows, 88 points each from Stefan Hansen of Denmark, Mike Schloesser of Netherlands. Good afternoon. If you're just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, here from the World Archery Championships in Copenhagen, where we have overcast skies, a green field, and thankfully no rain and not much wind. I'm here with the American archer, Steve Anderson. I'm George Tekmitchov from World Archery. And also joining us in the room is the great Juan Carlos Holgado. He's helping man the comments as the comments roll in. If you're with us on YouTube, you have the ability to send us your questions and comments via live stream right now.
And we're actually live on the camera, so give it away.
Here we are. Hi there.
So we've got a question here. Is Mikey shooting a thumb button and Stefan a back tension? Yeah, Stefan, yesterday he was using a hinge release, so yes, he was using a back tension. I assume he is still today. Mikey has shot a Carter target 4 although he only uses 3 fingers on it, and he's done that forever, basically.
Yeah.
He doesn't change releases. I'm not a big fan of changing releases either. I think you stick with one and you get comfortable with it.
A certain amount of that applies to recurves too. You don't want to just go changing tabs.
No, those guys live with it.
Yeah, it takes a while. You're back up. There's only one shooter I know who's successfully able to change tabs. The great Magnus Peterson. Magnus had 5 tabs. Still does, probably. And what he would do is he'd shoot, he had his Monday tab, his Tuesday tab, his Wednesday tab, his Thursday tab, And that way, he minimized the amount of wear on any given tab, and he also was able to stay out of trouble with, having different tabs when the time came to change one.
Yeah, I guess if you're accustomed to making the switch and getting used to it, then you're a leg up when it does come time to replace one that's worn out. Got another question just popped up from Vin Photo. Is there an advantage with either release with changing winds?
That's Dietmar.
Yeah, I don't think so. If you're trying to change to a thumb release so that you can kind of command the shot, chances are you don't have the shot execution or the mental game to make it work for you. Yeah, I think stick with your guns and shoot what got you there. They say in America, dance with the girl you brought, or something along those lines.
Yeah, exactly. 6-point lead for Sarah Lopez from Colombia right now.
Yeah, she's cruising.
It's a 2-point lead for Jyothi Vanam of India. 3-point lead for Alejandra Osquiano of Colombia. Crystal Gavin pulls out a 2-point lead over Linda Ochoa. 1-point lead for Amelie Sanseno. And let's see, Maria Vinogradova of Russia with a 2-point lead. 5-point lead for Kim Yun-hee of Korea versus Sandrine Van Dionant. And Natalia Avdieva trailing Tanya Jensen of Denmark by 1 point. For the men, Adam Ravenscroft, 4-point lead.
Over Albert Cornelius, the most distinguished name on the field.
Perfect score for Demir Emagakli of Turkey. Tied score between Mario Vavra of Croatia and Patrick Roux of South Africa. It's a 1-point lead for Rajat Chauhan over Robert Timms. Kevin Tatterin now with a 2-point lead over Chris Perkins. That's a surprise a little bit.
Yeah, the countryman doing battle, and the one who would probably not be considered the favorite, although he's a great shooter in his own right, is leading the charge.
Well, Kevin may just well have Chris's number. They shoot together quite a bit.
And right here we've got Stefan and Mikey, each with their, they haven't had many arrows on the right side of the X-ring, and again, they're both kind of mimicking each other on impact.
Yeah, so. It's almost a mirror image. You've got 10s from each. Mike just shot another 10. And another 10. It's just a 10 fest here, gentlemen.
Yeah, these guys are, they're just incredible talents. Another one for Mike.
I'm so impressed with both of these guys. They are just solid as a rock. And now I think they found their rhythm, focus, and timing.
Yep, and Mikey off the line with 79 seconds left.
Yeah,
so
he's not wasting that.
No, he was 41 seconds to get the arrows off.
And the crowd is certainly appreciative. We could be looking at a shoot-off here, potentially.
Stefan not slow either. He had 64 seconds remaining.
He's not wasting time.
Almost tipped his bow over right there, though. He thankfully had a coach there to make
sure
it
when he
didn't
put it
hit
down
the
on
deck.
the ground?
Yeah,
you wouldn't want to drop your bow. That probably wouldn't hurt anything, but the confidence thing.
Yeah, it's unlikely that anything moves on the bows in this day and age. If you have a good limb pocket system.
Even a long time ago, I remember I was at the World Indoor in Turkey in 1997, and one of my teammates, he had his bow tipped over hard by, at that time, one of the very top shooters from one of the top archery countries, and the guy just kind of shrugged and kept walking, didn't even apologize, and my teammate picked up the bow and proceeded to beat that guy with an almost perfect score.
Yeah, there's
so just having confidence helps.
There's generally not many bad instances of sportsmanship out here on the archery field, but it happens from time to time. We are human.
he certainly didn't kick it over on purpose. I didn't mean to imply that, but not apologizing for that kind of gave us a arched eyebrow.
Right. So we got asked if we'll be streaming during the qualification elimination rounds at Wrocław and Medellin. No, I don't believe they'll have this going during eliminations.
Hold on, I don't know.
Finals.
I don't think we have that answer. I don't think we know.
Maybe they are. Who knows?
Yeah. I'm thinking that we can find out, though. For sure, we can find out.
There's some other comments rolling in I'm seeing here. How is Stefan shooting so good? Yellow wraps, green string, blue grip, red sight. He is all over the place. Yes, he is. I guess he is not a believer in color coordination. But he's having no problem finding the 10 ring.
Well, it's not about fashion. It's about, it's about consistency. And if he's happy having a bunch of different colors at his disposal, he's obviously performing well in his happy place. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody's bored. Whoever that is you got to take a nap.
I'm sure there's something else on YouTube that will catch your interest.
I suggest you go FPS Russia. He'll wake you up. All right, maybe not. I have not had the pleasure of meeting Deb and Dale Nicholson. I have heard of them, but I have not had the pleasure of meeting them.
Nor have I, so.
Let's see, what other questions can we... Oh, Harlequin color scheme. Yeah, that's good. I wonder if that's Murray from GBR that's being referred to there.
All right, so we got some scores rolling in again.
We have scores rolling in again, and Steve, Sarah Lopez gave up 2 points in the last end.
And still leads by 5.
And still leads by 5. Well, the crowd likes what they're seeing here. This is no question a great match. And was it Marcus that said this could have been a gold medal match? Somebody said that. Somebody
it was
a
Marcus.
good thought there. And yeah, it's absolutely true. This is gold medal quality right here.
It really is. This is.
I'm sorry it won't be the final because the Danish crowd would love this when they get around to it.
Yeah, and I'm only seeing one score on the field higher right now, and that's from Demir Elmagakli from Turkey.
Yeah, who you predicted would be a factor in this thing, could still be. It looks like he's got a 3-point advantage over your friend and mine, Roberto Hernandez of El Salvador. Adam Ravenscroft still strong over Albertus Cornelius. We'll update all the scores shortly, but right now let's focus on these last 3 shots.
Yeah, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of one-arrow shoot-offs.
Mike Schloesser is just a explosive rocket starter, they'd call him in MotoGP.
Yeah,
10.
He gets with it. And, that can be advantageous. You get 3 arrows in the 10 ring before your opponent's done, and they got to think about it.
10. 9.
So the door is open for Stefan here.
Oh, that could be costly. Door is open. And he knows that he's taking his time. 9.
Oh, he just missed it.
9, and it's a mirror image.
And he just turned to question his coach. He doesn't understand why
10.
he missed. So Stefan has to have a 10 here.
I'm predicting a shoot-off, my friend.
I think we'll probably see it.
Here we
Stefan's
go.
making
Last
an adjustment
shot.
to the
10
side.
is a shoot-off. 9 is a loss.
So they've been both hanging on the left side. So Stefan just clicked to say
This is a
to
mental
the left.
click. It's got to be a mental click. Tell me it's not. 10. We have a shoot-off. Shoot-off will take place immediately after the field has been cleared from scoring all the matches. So that gives them a few moments to think about it, huh?
And they're both done with a minute to go, so they're going to have a little extra time.
Oh, yeah, they get to sit there and let it stew for a while.
Yeah.
My goodness, that's they didn't waste any time, that's for sure.
There was really no wind on that end.
See, I like this because this is, to me, 2 well-matched guys, well-matched. They have similar styles. Okay, they don't have similar physiques, but they have similar styles. And it's this is great. This is what it's about.
Yep, these guys It's not the first time we've seen him. It certainly won't be the last. It's probably years to come.
When are the recurve women due to compete for the last Olympic slot? Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, no, excuse me, not tomorrow. The last one's available from this event, but there's a continental qualifying tournament ahead. There's a final Olympic quota tournament ahead. So there's more in the next few months. The reason you want to win those slots at the World Championship is obvious. So you don't have to worry about it afterwards. You just focus on training.
Yeah, I believe the last opportunity will actually be at the Medellin World Cup next year.
Sure, yeah. Well, for people on our continent, North America.
Yes, that's true.
The one here for Europe will be in Nottingham, England. The one for Oceania will be, was I told, it was Fiji or Tonga? Tonga. It'll be Tonga, which actually sounds like fun. Sounds like a fun place to visit.
That's again, for the archers in the Australia, New Zealand area, they have a hard time getting to these events just because of the expense and time. And
well, yeah, I imagine that a flight to Tonga is not cheap, huh?
No.
And I don't think you're going to row.
Nope.
If you take enough gas, you could take your Volkswagen, the old style Volkswagen Bugs. They'd float. It's true. So we're setting ourselves up for a shoot-off between Stefan Hansen and Mike Schloesser of Netherlands. Victory for the following shooters. Victory for Toja Saren of Slovenia. Victory for Sarah Lopez. Victory for Crystal Galvin. Victory for Maria Vinogradova of Russia. Victory for Kim Yeon-hee of Korea. Victory for Natalia Avdieva of Russia. Victory for Adam Ravenscroft of GBR. Victory for Demir Emagakli of Turkey over Roberto Hernandez. Victory for Mario Vavro. We have a shoot-off between Rajat Chauhan of India and Robert Timms of Australia. Kevin Tatarin defeats Chris Perkins by 1 point. We have a shoot-off between Amir Kazimpour of Iran and Camilo Cardona of Colombia, and it's a 1-point victory for Daniel Munoz of Colombia versus Kim Jong-ho of Korea. I would not have called that. I would not have predicted that, and it means...
I'm not surprised by that. Daniel's had some great results the last couple of years. He was silver medalist, I think, in Medellin last year, and I shot against him this year in Turkey, and thankfully I shot a 150 because he was right there with a 148.
What it means is that we've only got one Korean left for the men.
Yeah, just one, and... looks like we may be out of Australians unless Robert Timsey can pull out this win.
He can, but Mr. Rajat Chauhan won't make it easy.
Yeah, and either way, it looks like we're going to be either eliminating the full Australian team or the full team from India.
Got to shoot off for the ladies. It's the junior champion Yasim Bostan of Turkey facing Jyothi Venom of India.
That one will be interesting because the Indian shooters have been strong all week, especially on the recurve side. But they've had some of the women's compounders go far too. I know they had a strong team last time at Balek. Toya pulls out a 1-point lead over, or a 1-point
victory. Yep. Yeah, and my condolences, Mr. Ochoa.
Yeah, unfortunately, Linda was eliminated there by Crystal.
Yeah.
Crystal shot the highest score on the field. No, the highest score on the field for the women.
Well, it would be worse if they hated each other. It's better that they are good friends.
Yeah, Linda will be bummed. I know it.
Well,
she's worked hard, but...
She has, but she's got Poland now to look forward to, right?
Yeah.
And so does Crystal, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they'll be there.
Yeah. And you will, too, shooting for the United States.
Yep, I'll be back in the saddle. Be nice. As much as I enjoy commentating, I enjoy,
Oh, I'm with you, buddy.
Doing it there.
I totally get that.
Okay, so this is going to be some interesting shoot-offs on the field. Obviously, we've got the best one right here in front of us.
This will be interesting, all right. Here they go. And they're not wasting any time. They're both coming to full draw. This is a drag race as much as it is a shoot-off.
And you'll notice clean target faces up.
Let's see who should go. Well, yeah, absolutely. Mike just missed the 10. He's a 9, and Stefan's got this in the bag. He's got it. He's got it.
Stefan moves on.
The Fresh Prince has taken the throne. Mike is not going to be happy with that. Look at Mike. Look at the body language.
Yeah.
Oh, but look at that. That was a genuine congratulations right there. No question about that.
You know, this brings up a topic of discussion. At World Field Championships, we pare the field down by top scores. So you cut to 16, and then all 16 archers shoot the same course. They take the top 8 scores from there, and only after you get to 4 does it go to head-to-head. So if we're in a situation like this, both these guys will be moving on. But in the 50-meter round, we shoot head-to-head eliminations. It's more fun for the fans. It's more fun for us to watch. And although Mikey had one of the higher scores on the field for the men, he's going home. He doesn't get a chance to defend his title now.
Well, the home crowd's going to have a nice potential show here, but it's not done yet.
No, it's not. And Stefan, I think that's probably the big win for him here. That's probably the one that gets him over the hump, per se. So
just look at the bracket, see who he's got coming up next.
I won't be surprised to see him take it all the way from there.
No, but he's got the momentum and the talent, the support from the crowd. He's got everything he needs right now to be who he wants to be here. I believe we are looking at Stefan Hansen.
And on target 29, Camilo Andres
The top half of that bracket.
Yeah, so it's going to be, let's see, Ruben's done, Pat's done.
Looks like Mario Vavro.
Yep.
Another
I think it is.
really talented young shooter.
Let me just double check this. Actually, I can just flip the next tick mark on the box here and pull up that assignment. Yeah, I agree. Mario Vavro is a talented shooter. The question is he at the level that he needs to be at to deal with Steve Hansen on his home turf, with his home crowd, not having shot here on the far left side of the field, with Stefan with the positive vibes, shall we say, of having momentum. Thank you. That's a better way to put it.
Yeah,
so I don't know what's going to happen here, but it's going to be interesting.
It's important to note. I mean, Mario is right now 150 meters away from us shooting. I don't think there's a whole lot of change in point of impact or lighting, but it can make a difference. And when you come and stand up next to this tent and with cameras next to you, it changes things.
It is Mario Vavro that'll be joining us over here. And they're showing him on target 1, so that means Stefan's got to move to target 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Must have something to do with seating.
Yeah, I think so. We'll have to check. It's not going to affect Stefan.
No. So yeah, Stefan's going to move to the right side.
Yeah, I think
away
so.
From us.
I think so.
I think that's where he shot yesterday. So
yes, it is, and I think and that's fine. That's
yes. He only moved to this side because Mikey was the higher seed.
Yes. So Mario Vavro from Croatia. What can you tell us about him, Steve?
Young shooter. I think he's 19, maybe 20 years old. I know he competed at World Youth Championships this year, so he's at least in the junior age category.
That was in Yankton, South Dakota, in the United States of America.
Yeah, put on by Bruce Cole at the NFAA headquarters. And
I heard that was a very successful event.
Yeah, I had my concerns about a World Youth Championship being in Yankton, although it's a good, safe place.
The alternative was a World Youth Championships in Mexico City, which, whether it's safe or not, is a lot more logistical problem.
Yeah, so for them to go to Yankton, it's not a big city. There's not a whole lot happening there, but they did a great job of keeping everyone entertained and giving them things to do. And from my understanding, it was a really, really well-ran event. And kudos to Bruce and his crew out there. So yeah, Mario's in the junior category. He does have one fairly major win under his belt, Berlin Open this year, the indoor event. So he's got the talent. He's standing here now. If you're still alive right now, you're a talented shooter. There's no sneaking through on accident.
Yeah, this is the coffee out of the filter right here. These guys are the best right now.
We looking at the archers that are left, this is interesting.
Look how young they are. Just in general, I mean, with a couple of exceptions, this is mostly a very young crowd that made it this far.
And the names aren't the names you see often.
No, but I see them on the World Cup circuit moving up and up and up and up. Like, for example, Yassim Bostan.
Yeah,
and she's up against Sarah Lopez in the next pass. Toya versus Crystal.
The way Crystal shot and the way Toya shot, I think Crystal's going to take this one.
Andrea Marcos versus Maria Vinogradova.
Marcos is probably the steadier shooter. Vinogradova has the potential to shoot a much better score.
Avdieva of Russia versus Kim Yun-hee.
Probably the same thing as I described for Andrea Marcos and Vinogradova. So I'm going to actually go with Kim Yun-hee, the Korean.
I'm predicting a shoot-off. For the gentleman, Emagakli of Turkey versus Adam Ravenscroft.
I'm going to stick to my pick. I'm going to go with Demir.
Kevin Tataran of Canada, I guess he's the old guy in the group, versus Rajat Chauhan of India.
Oh, man, Kevin is probably super pumped to come this far. I don't think he should be surprised. He's a great shooter, but he doesn't go to these events. He hasn't. I don't know if he's competed at any World Cups in the last couple of years, but for Kevin, he's got the maturity behind him. I think he can pull this one out. Although Rajat's not going to make it easy. Could be another shoot-off. I'm going to predict shoot-off.
Daniel Munoz of Colombia versus Andres Cardona of Colombia.
I don't know how their local results have been. Usually one shooter tends to dominate at home and kind of has the mental advantage. I think I'm going to take Daniel Munoz on this one.
Okay. Question for us. Just came up here that I think I'd like to answer. Do GT and SA think shooting on the featured target will help someone if they make the finals, get them comfortable? Do bears live in the woods?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is finals prep right here. This is like
it's as close as it gets to the real deal.
Yeah, you're on camera. You've got
a crowd behind you.
Yeah, it's. I think for Stefan. Right now I'm seeing Stefan going all the way.
Yeah, you get the whole 9 yards. You got the music, you got the guy shouting on the microphone, you've got the crowd applauding, you get the big intro. This is it. This is as close as you're going to get to simulation of the finals, so why not? This is going to be great.
And Stefan's been here, this is his 5th match here. So I think if he makes it through, as long as the day between doesn't get him thinking too much, if he just goes out and does what he's been doing, he's going to shoot solid scores. I think he's had, 147 was his high score out here. I think his low score has been a 146.
I agree. It makes it more interesting for these kinds of situations, but also makes tourneys very long. And also sometimes it's easier to go to the loser's bracket. As soon as I figure out what all that means, I'll say something about it.
I think they're talking about having the featured match here, broadcast live.
I know, but it's pretty rare that we have a yawner.
Right.
I mean, maybe we've had one. All the other ones have been well worth the pick, and I have to compliment our media guys for their foresight on that. Okay, 10 and a 10. Mr. Vavro looks like he's in fine form. And quite a hairstyle. Struck his arrow, and Stefan with an X.
Three good ones there for Stefan.
2 X's and a 10, and Vavro with a 9, leaving the door open.
So I got a question here to me. How does the U.S. team select their archers? Seems like they change often compared to other countries. Yeah,
well,
we do a year-long selection process, essentially. So we have 4 USAT tournaments. Of those 4
you
USAT
better explain what
tournaments,
USAT means.
U.S. archery team tournaments. So it's a national qualifying event, and you have a ranking based off of your arrow score average, your placement in qualification, and your placement in the elimination days. So of those 4 tournaments, you take 3 of those, and you take your ranking score, and that all gets added up. And then we have our USA Outdoor Nationals, and that's also the 4th tournament that gets factored into those. So 3 of your 4 national events and your national championship placement all go into your final ranking, and then it's re-ranked after the first 2 World Cups. There's a lot of complication there.
It's a rolling rank,
yeah,
right?
It's a rolling ranking. It can change, but shooters' standings in the World Cup finals also play into that. So, yeah, it does change often. We've got a pretty deep field. I mean, it's interesting to think that Bridger Deaton was 2014 World Cup final champion. He won't be on the team next year. It's just we have Braden and Rio who have been steady 1-2. They're always right there. And then there's been some fight for that 3 and 4 spot. And Bridger and I were there this year.
South Africa.
And it looks like Alex Wiffler is going to maintain the number 3 spot. And then we got a couple guys, including myself, fighting for the number 4 spot next year. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of frustrating. I've been to 3 World Cups, never finished out of the top 10, and I might not be going to any more next year. So when you're in a country with a lot of depth, and, you know, I might complain, but think about being a Korean recurve archer.
Yeah, exactly. Think about what it's like to be a Korean recurve archer when there are 90 people behind you who can shoot over a 340 on demand.
Yeah, it's
in 70
incredible.
meters.
I mean, you could probably take a number of, like you said, 90 to 100 people out of Korea and put them anywhere else. They'd be far and away the number 1 archer in that country.
True enough. Okay. Hope that answers your question. You lost me at USAT, personally. No,
Yeah.
Just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
So do make sure, please, you're still using your electronic scorecards, archers, to record your score.
We got an archer, Rolf, asking about Mario's draw length. Any concerns about that? Yeah, he has a bit of a unconventional anchor point. He kind of anchors on the back half of his nose. I mean, we've seen, even less conventional form. It just works out. As long as the archer is repeatable and isn't absolutely mobbing their string with their face.
Well, the sport is a simple sport. You pull the bow, you let go of the string.
Yeah, if you aim middle and don't screw anything up in between, you'll probably be all right. If you have a lot of face contact on the string, you might see some left and right impact issues. But Mario, he is anchoring a little further back on his nose, but it doesn't look like he's got his cheeks and chin in the string.
Would you say Dave Cousins is a guy that's got some of that going on?
Yeah, Dave turns his head really hard, but he doesn't pull the string back behind his nose like Mario does. You'll see here when he comes to full draw again.
Okay, let's look at some of the other scores right now. It's a 1-point lead for Sarah Lopez of Colombia versus Yasim Bostan of Turkey. It's a draw between Toya Cern of Slovenia and Crystal Galvin of the United States of America. We've got a 1-point lead from Maria Vinogradova of the Russian Federation versus Andrea Marcos of Spain. 2-point lead for Natalia Avdieva of Russia versus Kim Yoon-hee of Korea. For the gentleman, Demir Emagakli of Turkey is hammering with a 30, and he's got a 1-point lead over Adam Ravenscroft. Rajat Chauhan of India with a 2-point lead, over Kevin Tatarin of Canada. And we've got a 1-point lead for Camilo Cardona of Colombia versus his teammate Daniel Munoz. We're now into the second end of 5 ends. Stefan Hansen, Mario Vavro, and Mario Vavro of Croatia is on target number 1, where he just delivered a 10, and so did his opponent, Mr. Stefan Hansen, pair of 10s, and almost in identical spots on the targets.
So you'll notice there Mario's anchor point comes a little further
9
back than most.
That could have been expensive, Steve, that 9 just now. Because Stefan just followed up with a 10.
I mean, unfortunately for Mario, he might shoot a 149 and it won't be good enough.
You just do not leave the door open right now for Stefan Hansen. He's on a roll.
Yeah, I won't be surprised. Now, I don't want to jinx him right here, but we'll see where this arrow lands.
9.
9.
10. 10, 10, 10.
10 for Stefan. I'm going to give him I'm going to put him up against the announcer's jinx and say he's going to be 148 plus here.
I'm going to get in trouble with my friends in Croatia. I think Mr. Vavro's done.
Yeah, that's...
Sorry, 9 arrows to go and 3 down against Stefan right now. Unless, Peregrine Falcon decides to carry Stefan off. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
This is difficult, right?
You can't drop 3 in the first 2 against him.
Can't do it.
You might be able to drop 3 total.
No, I don't think you can even do that right now.
Not right now. Yeah, I think he's 148 plus, probably closer.
He's exactly where he wants to be, how he wants to be. The wind is not a factor, and he's comfortable with the crowd. He's comfortable with where we are. He's been shooting here all day. He knows what he's doing. This is exactly his time. There is going to be a lot of trouble for anybody trying to get past that kid right now.
Yep. I think we're looking at a gold medal finalist in front of us.
I will not be surprised.
We've got a shout out from Roy Tanimoto in Hawaii at GT and Steve. Thanks, and hello from Hawaii. Hello to you too, Roy. Enjoy.
Mahalo.
Mahalo. Enjoy your time there. Let us know what island you're on.
Can somebody tell me with what camera are they shooting? Somebody wants to know the technical specs of the camera. We'll try to find out. But it's a mechanical gimbal camera. It's got a motorized head, and it's remote controlled by our team here.
In 2011, in the World Junior Championships, it was Hansen who walked away with the spoils there. 148 to 140.
They are made by Panasonic Corporation.
Interestingly, just a few weeks ago, in July, in the European Grand Prix in Bucharest, it was Favreau who took the spoils with a 2-point victory.
You have just jinxed Stefan. No.
Best of three,
I don't think so. I'm not that superstitious.
Oh, and our friend is the Big Island.
On targets 1 and 2.
Haven't been. I've been to Maui. Beautiful. Big Island. Looked awesome. Maybe next time.
You went there for your honeymoon, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elsewhere around the field, Sarah Lopez.
Loganova does not use a nose reference at all. That's true because of the shape of her face. She doesn't need to either, though, because she's got that rear peak.
Right.
Galvin of the USA is 1 point up on Toya Cherne of Slovenia.
I've got a question. Do the best target archers shoot field well, or is field very specialized? Yes, it is
Yes
kind of
and no.
specialized, but I mean, how many, we talked about Olympic champion Jay Bars. How many world field titles did he win?
2.
2? Yeah, so it's field archery.
You want my politically incorrect answer?
Yes.
Field archery is for really smart people compared to target archery.
Yeah, it's a gamer's game. You got to have a lot of intuition and instinct to shoot field archery, I think.
Well, let's just say that we've had target champions in the past who've been less intellectual, perhaps, might be one way to put it. But most of your field shooters are pretty sharp people. Think about who they are. Think about people like Petra Eriksson. Think about people like Simon Fairweather. People like Jay Bars.
Dave Cousins.
He's I don't care what you say about Dave. He's a smart guy. So yeah, Jesse Broadwater.
Yeah, I mean, if you're pretty sharp with math. Now, I mean, field with the one unmarked round, that really doesn't even matter once you hit the top 16. It does for qualification, but you can make it through with a pretty.
Stefan's running away with this thing, my friend.
Yeah, and we've kind of looked away from it as well. Now, we just had a big gust of wind come in.
Oh, yeah, and they're slowing down just a skosh. I think they're just looking for whether it's going to have any effect. It can't. It's not that much.
It's not that much, but it's different from
It
what
affects
they've
your
been
execution,
shooting.
perhaps.
Yeah.
Stefan's just solid right there, 10s. He's got this well in hand, and he just shot an 8. And I saw him shoot, and that bow looked loose in his hand. Is it just a function of him not having that? He kind of threw a big,
He gave it the onion.
Yeah, gave it the onion,
I think
as you say.
Maybe Mario's seen a little more pin movement than he had the first few rounds.
Stefan's got himself a 10-10-9, his first arrow out of the 10 ring so far. And by the way, it's not assured that it's out. It's probably out. It's behind an arrow. I can't tell, but Spotter's in a better position, and he says it's out, so I trust that.
So, talking on Mario, coming over here, knowing how well Stefan's shooting, getting on the cameras. First off, it's hard to go up against a shooter who's just absolutely rolling because you feel like you have to be perfect.
Field archery is the thinking man's archery. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I'm not smart enough to come up with that phrase, though. That's why I finished second at U.S. Nationals in field archery.
It's a 6-point game now in our featured match. Mario
Obviously, Broadwater is a freak,
Stefan Hansen of Denmark has 89.
but for mere mortals.
Got Josh Binger from the U.S. saying, depending on the course, most target shooters are pretty good at field. I'll say the other way, most field shooters are pretty good at target.
No, I bet you Josh didn't mean that.
Right.
Because in my experience, most field shooters are pretty good at target, but not the other way around. No argument here, Josh.
Yeah, I look at a guy like myself or Jesse Broadwater, and I would describe us as field shooters,
Sure. And Wilkie.
And Wilkie's had his share of success out on the target range. Dave is a field shooter.
Yeah, Dave is a serious field shooter. And these guys can also rock it in places like Reading, which is kind of a marked field situation. But you've still got to know your cuts. You got to understand. You just need to be a tinkerer to shoot field. You got to understand cause and effect.
A lot of that. And you got to be able to roll with the punches, you know. It's an ever-changing game. And
that's why I kind of raised my eyebrow years ago when they decided to have records for field. How do you do that?
When the course is never the same.
Right.
Yeah. It's almost like the ASA 3D circuit determining a record. I mean, they're never the same course. You can't really predict difficulty or anything like that. So it's, I guess, nothing more than a statistical entry.
Numbers have rolled in. I'm not sure they're 100% here because I don't think Adam Ravenscroft blanked one. Okay, there we go. Ravenscroft's ahead by 2. So that's a turnaround.
Yes.
It's a 4-point lead for Rajat Chauhan. It's a 2-point lead for Andres Cardona. It is, on the women's side, a 6-point lead for Sarah Lopez of Colombia. It's a 1-point lead for Crystal Galvin. It's a 3-point lead for Maria Vinogradova versus Andrea Marcos of Spain. So I think, my friends, with 6 arrows to go, the writing is on the wall for some of these matches.
Yeah, and
in particular, our marquee match, Stefan Hansen cruising to victory right now. He's up by 6 points.
And Sarah Lopez is his counterpart on the women's side right now. She is steamrolling her opponents. 6 points, I mean, it's not recoverable.
If there was any question whether Stefan Hansen was comfortable, Stefan has 89 of a possible 90 points. The high score on the entire field, yeah, he's comfortable.
Yep. He's going to be ready for Saturday's final. And that's, again, I'm pushing superstition aside. He's going to be there.
Well, you know, I'm not sure who can stop him right now. I'm just not sure. So we'll see. This is cool stuff. I hope everybody's enjoying it back home. I'm George Tekmitchup. I'm here with Big Cat Steve Anderson. And we are in the last 6 arrows of the quarterfinals here at the World Championships. After this will be the semifinals to decide who shoots for what color medal.
And Stefan just off there, just missing the 10 ring, takes a 9.
He could afford a couple.
Yeah, his second 9 of the round.
Yeah, it's going to be a real hard row to hoe for Mr. Vavro. He still trails by 5.
Yeah, if I'm Stefan right here,
5 arrows to go, by the way.
I'm really just trying to feel my shot execution
and
ingrain it.
It's good practice either way. Yep, Mr. Vavro makes it a solid shot there, 10 points, but he's given up too much ground. He's only got 4 arrows to go in the entire match. He's got to try to somehow make up 5 points. Unless something catastrophic happens, that's not going to happen. And I think, you know, Vavro with a 10-10-10 on that is just a testimony to his ability to recover. It's not a testimony to his making a run. It's too late for that.
Yes, we got one commentator saying they're getting a bit bored watching Stefan this week. And
sorry.
Yeah, we've got the featured matches here. We are in Denmark, so they're going to show the local Fresh Prince that is Stefan Hansen.
I think if you're a student of our sport, you'll just happily look at what's happening here and take lessons from it, because these guys have great form, and you can't pay for lessons like that. You know, I personally kind of take umbrage at that remark.
Yep. We've got a question just came in. GT and Steve, do you think bigger diameter arrows are increasing in popularity compared to the small X10s?
Nope.
No, I don't. There's still enough wind out here. If you're shooting something that's in the 1964s range.
The only guys who are shooting bigger diameter arrows are getting paid to shoot bigger diameter arrows.
Yeah,
sorry.
And they all would prefer to have something smaller.
Absolutely, they would. I'm not gonna beat around the bush on this. There's, you know, right now on this field of play, there's a couple people being paid a reasonable amount of money to shoot what they shoot. Stefan being one of them, right? And other than that, are there any fat arrows out there? I don't see any.
I don't see one. I think you're seeing nothing but small diameter.
In fact, I'm going to go ahead and take a look, and I'll mention it if I do see any. I saw one earlier. One of the Greek guys was using an all-carbon big diameter arrow.
Yeah, at 50
and
meters.
He's gone, by the way. He's done.
Yeah, 50 meters indoors, I'm still going to roll X10s. It's my best shooting arrow.
They're all small diameter arrows, every one of them. And there's a reason. You know, I'll give you an example. Easton brought out the Profield, right? Profield is an intermediate diameter arrow.
Yeah, just a slightly larger diameter arrow than the
Guys
X10.
tried them. They went right back to their small diameter pro tours.
That's,
you know,
it's hard to go away from the X10, which is proven and proven and proven. And guys regardless of diameter, they want their best grouping arrow. And that's it's great to have some diameter to catch lines, but you'd rather just group inside the ring than
same
try to
true
catch
indoors.
a
I
line.
mean, your top scores, your world records indoors by the recurve shooters are held with, in fact, X10s, but, small diameter carbon arrows.
Yeah. Even with the compound, we've seen a lot of the guys who maybe don't have the draw length to quite break down something as big as a 27-12 at Vegas. PJ Deloche, for one, he shot his best scores in Vegas with his 23-15. So, I mean, you want to roll what works best for you. The larger diameter you can have indoors, the better. But at the same time, take what shoots the best out of your bow.
Nothing trumps grouping.
No.
Okay, Stefan Hansen with a 5-point lead going into the final 3 arrows. Yassim Bostan is trailing Sarah Lopez. Sarah's got a big advantage right now. She's got a 6-point lead. So that's the biggest gap on the field right now. Toya has reversed things against Crystal. She's up by 2.
Yep, so Crystal had
a bit of a bobble there with a 27.
28-27. Yeah, she got 5 points in 2 hands.
Yeah, okay, and Toya responded with a 30. Maria Vinogradova of Russia with a 1-point lead over Andrea Marcos of Spain. That could come down to the wire.
Yep. Kim Yoon-hee with a 3-point lead over Natalia Avdieva. Avdieva's a shooter who we've seen throw down some huge scores in head-to-head matches, but she's a command shooter.
Yep.
She punches the trigger.
If the wind were blowing, she might have an advantage.
Yeah, when she's on, and when she's not on, she has almost no hope, and that's kind of the way it is for command shooters.
Look here. It's Adam and Demir, and we may be looking at a shoot-off on targets 23 and 24 when the dust settles.
Yeah, even heat there at 115.
And then we've got a 4-point lead for Rajat Chauhan, reversing the lead that Kevin Tatarin had here, the final 3 arrows. Let's see what happens here as the Fresh Prince, Stefan Hansen, continues to give us a master class in how to execute a good shot and shoot 10s. Pair of 10s from these shooters, but Mr. Vavros is a jar licker. Stefan with another solid 10.
And
this is done.
Looking down the scores again, we got Camilo Cardona with a 4-point lead over his teammate. I had picked Daniel, and I'm going to be wrong again. And that's okay.
Well, that's why we're having the competition. We can speculate in the beginning, but when the rubber hits the road, Stefan Hansen with a triple 10, 10, 10, and he is done, my friends. We have one more arrow here. The honorable effort of Mr. Vavro of Croatia. Here it comes, and it's a 10 to finish. Good job. But not nearly enough to overcome Stefan Hansen. It is a 5-point gap. Stefan Hansen of Denmark victorious once again. That does not get boring.
No, and in a quarterfinal match under these conditions at World Championships, you've got to figure you're going to need to be 147 to win. 146 at best, you're probably going to get a tie. And Mario with a 143, I know he's probably disappointed.
What's your opinion on feathers instead of vanes? Indoors, feathers are great.
I still roll vanes. It's, if you're shooting enough indoors, you're going to spend a lot of time fletching, which I absolutely hate.
Millions of years of dinosaur technology cannot be wrong.
Right, yeah. Feathers work fine. I've had vanes work fine, and they're considerably more durable, so I just stick to vanes. Outdoors, it's no question. You should
nobody's shooting feathers outdoors. No, it's been a while. Max Hamilton developed Plastifletch back in 1966, and nobody ever looked back.
Any development work being done on an arrow thinner than the X10 or X10 Pro Tour? I don't know if it's materially possible right now.
Well, it's possible. You don't want to pay for it. Trust me, you don't want to pay for it.
So Stefan Hansen is through. He will shoot another match for you on our featured targets.
I got asked if I was shooting a factory Podium X or a special build. The last couple years when I was shooting the Pro Comp Elite, I shot with 3,000 limbs. It was a longer limb that I did build special.
It was available from the custom shop at a certain point, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and I shot that just because I preferred the longer axle to axle. I went to World Field Championships with a standard version of that bow at 40 inches. Shot it really well. And
now let's make it clear for those of you who don't know Steve. He's 6'7".
Right, 32.5-inch draw length, so a little extra axle to axle was always helpful for me. But as I said, I went to World Field with a standard Pro Comp Elite XL and shot it really well. And then I was still working at Hoyt at the time of the bow launch, and I got a Podium X40 for some initial release videos and things like that. And I shot it well, and I'm actually still shooting that one. It's not even a production model. It's got a lot of parts and pieces that were proto versions, and it's not quite as good of a fit and finish as you get on a standard factory bow. So no, I am I guess not shooting a factory bow, but I am shooting a factory setup.
One of the things that's important with arrows isn't just how big it is in diameter, but how consistent it is, and also the fact that there's only a couple of companies out there capable of delivering. It's hard to make quantities of carbon arrows.
Yeah, it's
that's one of the reasons why so many competitors are using basically 94%, 95% of the competitors using one brand. It's simply a function of availability and quality. Some people are throwing up some other names up there, and that's a company that doesn't deliver.
Yeah, I in this sport, how do I say this? It's easy to find a way to go against the grain and be different and pick something else, but time and time again, even at every level of the game, the winners are shooting very, very similar stuff. And as we talked about yesterday, it's not because they're paid. I can go get arrows or a bow from any company in the industry. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to shoot what I think gives me the best.
And by the way, I don't want staff shooters that want to be paid as their first consideration.
No,
I don't. When I ran the Hoyt recurve program back, years ago, if that person wasn't already shooting a Hoyt, I wasn't going to offer him one. Here comes a shoot-off
here between Crystal Gavin and Toya Chernay.
Yes, indeed.
Crystal, fast shooter. She's got her arrow away already.
And that was a 10. And that's looks like, Toya just shot a 9. So Crystal advances.
Crystal moving on. She's having a really good day out here.
Yeah.
And you know what? Her attitude this whole week has been very business-like. I'm not surprised to see her moving into the semis.
Well, she's the sole American still in the game in the compound category.
The American Archer.
We're going to have a good one coming up here next. Adam Ravenscroft and Stefan Hansen.
The confirmation of that. And then we will be into semi-final action. The judge awards the match to Crystal Gavin of the USA. Congratulations to her. She is through to the next round.
All right, let's run through the winners here.
Yep, let's do. Let's give us a second to get our result system back in order. Okay, it's Crystal Galvin versus Sarah Lopez. It's going to be Maria Vinogradova versus Kim Yun-hee. Rajat Chauhan of India will take on Camilo Cardona of Colombia, and it's going to be our marquee match will be Adam Ravenscroft on target 1. And he's going to face the Fresh Prince, Stefan Hansen. No apologies to those of you tired of watching Mr. Hansen.
And I must say, right now I have an ice cream bet with Rio Wild. He just texted me. We had a bet on Toya and Crystal, and Rio owes me ice cream.
Well, we'll see if he's in the mood to pay. I hope Rio's on and watching and happy at home with his kids. Rio's a great dad, and I know that it tears him up every time he's got to leave the kids and come to a tournament. And that's an extra load on your mind. So Rio winged his way home after being eliminated, and we wish him the best preparation for Poland coming up soon.
Yes.
The field looks great right now. We've got sunshine out there. You'd think that we had overnight taken the entire tournament and transplanted it to somewhere with good weather, because we've had great weather here.
I mean, it's 20 degrees Celsius, and it feels like we're roasting.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
You're the one that likes cold weather. I'm happy.
I do enjoy the cold. So.
And Juanito Carlos is here taking care of business. There's nothing he can do. He's too tall. He'll never fit in the camera frame. It won't happen. I can go like this.
What you got right there is probably the best. You need to move it a little bit to the side.
Yeah. People are just probably wondering what's going on there. Any other questions rolling along here that we want to get into while we have our lull?
Let's see what we've got here.
They're debating carbon versus wood. Ooh, it must be archery talk.
Yeah, that's must have some trad archers watching.
Yeah, well, great. We love trad archers.
Archers, this is your 1 minute
Yeah.
warning. 1 minute.
Nothing coming in right now.
Start of competition. Thank you.
You wouldn't believe how much trouble goes into making a carbon arrow look like a wood arrow.
To introduce you to the 2 archers on our featured match, choosing on target 1, age 33.
Okay, and they're lining them up, and we're about ready to go here again.
Wait until the field champs. This looks cool. Wait until the field champs next year in Ireland, 4 seasons in one day. Well, we've had that here too.
We did have that yesterday.
And I remember Wales. I went to Wales when we had the World Championships there, and that was biblical proportions of rain, that place.
And we must have Chef Vandenberg watching. He says, just wait until we arrive. Recurve archers equals poor weather.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he didn't use that word, though. He was somewhat more frank.
Chef, we can't wait to see you here.
Yes, indeed. Oh, it occurs to me, my friend Yoshi Komatsu from Japan Archery Magazine, who's out there working hard, taking photos, pointed out to me that Yuta Yamamoto is. Oh no, it wasn't Yoshi. It was Phil Nall. Phil Nall mentioned to me that Yuta Yamamoto is now known as Ame Otoko, which is Rain Man.
The Rain Man.
Yeah, because everywhere he's gone this year, it's been just torrential.
Answer 10.
Okay, 10 points for Stefan.
Yep.
You know, we could just record that and hit a button. I think it would be easier. Adam just opened the door for Stefan to gain a lead. You do not do that against Mr. Hansen this early.
Yeah, you give him an inch, he takes a foot.
Yeah, what are you going to do? You know, I mean, you got to have some sympathy for Adam. He's coming over here. He's got the crowd behind him. He's got to settle down a little bit. Adam's just come back with a 10. So Stefan's got a 1-point lead with 2 arrows downrange and 1 to go for this first end. And there it is, 10, 10, 10. How many is that in a row? I should have kept track. He's just been tremendous today.
Enough.
Yeah, enough. Performance of a lifetime for Stefan Hansen. Got a few more. So what was the ice cream bet with Rio?
We had a bet on the match between Toyo Chernay and Crystal Gavin. And Crystal took that match in the shoot-off.
Oh, so he bet against Crystal.
Yeah, he
that was unwise.
Well, Toya's had probably the better season so far.
But Crystal's been in a good mood at breakfast, I've noticed.
She's got something working for her here. She's
does.
having one of the better archery days of her career.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure if you went back on it, I have a pretty running tally with Rio on who owes who ice cream.
I'll bet it'll never get paid.
No, it won't. We'll just enjoy it together.
Speaking of ice cream, we went downtown here in Copenhagen yesterday. If you're a tourist in Copenhagen, there's more than enough to make you happy around Nyhaven, which is 400 meters away from where our finals are going to be Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, it looks like an awesome venue. I'm pretty pumped to see that. Hopefully we can get in to see that as
I
told
think
it's sold out.
I'm afraid we might be watching it on YouTube ourselves, even though we're in town.
So take note, people have paid money to watch an archery event.
Again.
Yeah, it doesn't happen all that often.
No, it's happening more often. Yeah.
For the best, for all of us. But yeah, I mean, I remember the last World Championships in Belek. I counted the number of spectators there who weren't archers, and it was rather disappointing. So to see that the people of Denmark are coming out in droves, that's awesome to hear.
Well, let's understand this. The event here in Denmark is bigger than the one we had when we had a World Cup final here, and that World Cup final was the best World Cup final attendance that I personally have seen.
Yeah, you were talking about that, and actually, as we walked down by the marina area, you told us where the shooters were standing and where the target was located. It was back in the days of 70 meters for compound.
You can visualize, though, just how well that went over. I mean, both banks of the Niehaven Canal were lined with very enthusiastic spectators. Sight lines were unrivaled. And this is going to be just as good, from what I understand, looking at the venue plan. It's sold out. It is sold out. And no joke, we do not have seats available for us. We'll have to figure out what to.
We'll sneak in.
I'm going to say. Actually, I tried to see if I could fly back home because I got work to do, right? But
Right.
as it is, it was prohibitively expensive to bail.
Got a couple questions coming in here. Do all archers have a spare bow at this level of competition?
Yep.
Yeah, most do. Realistically, if you're having to go to your spare bow, you're probably done anyways.
Here's the deal, though. You're not running to your spare bow in a competition match so much as you're maybe breaking something in practice and then pulling out the other one.
Yeah, practice or...
Not to mention what airlines do to equipment.
Hansen.
10 points for Stefan and a 9 for Mr. Ravenscroft. This is, this is going to be another runaway for Stefan if this keeps up.
He's not giving up much.
Nope. Stefan with another 10. People are enjoying seeing him shoot those. Adam with a 10.
And let's take a look at some of the other scores from the first end. Looks
Yeah.
like Sarah Lopez had a 30-29 lead over Crystal Gavin. Maria Vinogradova from Russia with a 30-29 lead over Kim Yoon-hee. And Raja
Got a draw
Cahoon.
for the men.
Yep, and Raja Cahoon and Camilo Cardona tied at 29.
Stefan Hansen, a 60, 10-10-10, once again. And that's a 4-point lead over Adam right now.
Adam closing that end with an 8, not ideal, but Stefan's you give him 1, and that's probably all he needs.
Oh, here's a brilliant comment. Archery will never be a spectator sport. You want to bet? Come show up.
Yeah, I honestly think it could
You've
be.
obviously never been to an archery tournament if you're saying something like that.
And the excitement of a final match is a lot different than watching continuous elimination matches. It's more of a presentation, more of a production.
People paying to watch archery is a great testimony for what World Archery has been doing. Absolutely.
And
Roger
we have a comment about our spare bow comment. I was told, say that to Florian Kalun last year in Antalya. He wanted the spare bow. Yes, he did in the set system. I'm speaking more on behalf of the compounders because I am a compounder.
Yeah.
If you're going to your spare bow, if you have an issue with your setup in this raw score system that we use here for compound, your day is probably done. I mean, I can point to numerous matches. You could say, yeah, Sarah Lopez went to her spare bow last year and didn't work out for her. She lost. She did it again this year in a match at World Championships for the youth and lost. Spare bows, like you said, they're more for if there's an accident in practice or with the airlines for compound.
I think it's also worth dispelling a injustice. It wasn't Florian's arrow rest that failed. It was the fact that his finger sling caught the wire on his arrow rest, flipped it around,
Yeah,
but
it was,
just one turn of a screw and the thing was fine.
basically self-inflicted damage.
Yeah. He didn't have an arrow rest failure, as a lot of people were saying. That wasn't the case at all.
Electronic score pad. Score as early as you can. And Stefan Hansen of Denmark, the only perfect 60 on the field in the semi-finals.
And scores coming in now. Sarah Lopez continues to hold a 1-point lead over Crystal Gavin. They both had 29s on that end. Vinogradova and Kim Yoon-hee draw even at 58. And we have the same score for Camilo Cardona and Rajat Chaham.
We got one perfect score on the field, and that is from Stefan Hansen.
And he's got a commanding lead, 60-56 over Adam Ravenscroft here in our featured match.
There's somebody suggesting that we should have... Oh, well, we've already got that in Nîmes. Lots of music, scantily clad ladies.
Yes, the Nîmes dancing girls.
And they're actually well clad. It's just,
Yeah, they aren't bearing all by any means.
No.
Always something that everyone looks forward to.
This
in
is a
Nîmes
family
the
sport.
final production.
Archery will never be a spectator sport. Remember London 2012?
Sold out and every seat
Sold
was
out
taken.
and every seat was taken. Gone are those days when it was not spectator friendly. Exactly. Yeah, if you've been in Lord's during London 2012, you know that it's a silly thing to say that this is not a spectator sport. Your head's in the ground, kiddo. All right, here we go. We're back in action.
Third end.
6 shots to go.
Ravenscroft, 10.
Or I should say 9. 9 shots to go.
Yep. So what I want to look at here is the pace of Stefan as he shoots next to
give us an
Adam
analysis of what's
Ravenscroft.
going on here dynamically, Steve.
So when Stefan was shooting next to Mikey gets off the line so quickly, I think it actually sped Stefan up as well. He was coming off the line with about 70 seconds left on the clock, and right now he's loading an arrow, and there's 81, so he's slowed down a little bit, kind of matched his competitor's pace, and I don't like to see that. You should probably roll your own tempo and keep that no matter who you're shooting against. But he's not far off, 68 seconds there, so it's not a big change.
I noticed that we saw some comments on Twitter from the Diva of Dover, but I haven't seen her on here yet. Is there a reason she's not shooting here? Did she hurt her shoulder again, or what's up?
I have not heard. We're talking about
Andrea Gales.
GBR's Andrea Gales, and I'm not sure why she's not here, if it was a qualification deal or what it was, but yeah, she's
Well,
not part
shout
of
out
the
to
GBR
Andrea
team.
anyway.
Yeah, one of our favorites.
Well, I got to tell you, that was a very impressive 10-10-10 from Mr. Ravenscroft, but still got himself a 3-point gap, and with 6 arrows to go, a 3-point gap is not a good place to be, is it?
So
Not when Stefan's been shooting consistently.
Yeah, I mean, you have to hope for something very, very unplanned to take place.
You look around, and our friend Chef may have been right.
Yeah, it looks like it could be picking up here for the recurve men.
The weather is what we're referring to. The dark clouds are starting to roll in. Not in time to be a factor for this match, though.
And about to have some updates roll in as archers get their PDAs.
I will say this, I think it would have been nice if maybe we'd had one of the women's matches over here.
Yeah, it would have been good to see. They did have some stuff with Sarah Sonicson when this was first getting underway. They're keeping the Danes here. That's kind of their protocol for this.
Perfectly
these featured
understandable,
matches.
and that's we're playing to the audience, and that's important to do. It's just, it would have been nice to give the ladies a moment in the spotlight, but they'll have it on the finals.
Yeah, this event here that we're watching now, this live stream is certainly catered towards a presentation for the local fans, which there are a number of, and you can hear them yelling out there.
Yeah, we've got a good crowd out there. Okay, here we go with 3-point differential in favor of Stefan Hansen of Denmark as we're about to get back underway.
And we've got Crystal Govan and Sarah Lopez drawn even at 87s. Kim Yoon-hee, the Korean shooter, takes a 2-point lead over Maria Vinogradova, 87-85, and Rajat Chauhan, with a 3-point lead over Camilo Cardona.
Chauhan versus Kim is my prediction for the gold medal final, if this keeps up. Have I got the wrong bracket in mind?
Yeah, I think the computer system's got us thrown off a little bit. We're seeing Lopez, Kim. At this point, it looks like Lopez or Govan versus Kim.
Nice catch. I haven't had my coffee. Well, Stefan just shot one outside of the 10 rather. So, and a 10 from Adam. That's 2 points now. Could we be seeing a reversal? We'll find out in the next shots. Yes, X. And a 10. 2-point game with 4 arrows to go.
And Adam, to have a chance, has to hit 10 here and hope that Stefan doesn't get it in there.
Only 1 arrow out of the 10 for Stefan. There's one in the 10 ring again. Oh, 8 points. That shot the fox, as they say on.
And that's an upwind 8. It's like he was trying to battle a little bit of the wind there, and it let down, and his bow moves upwind, and it goes off.
Did not need that.
What a lot of shooters don't think about is how wind can actually activate a release for a compound shooter. If you're fighting
moving you?
Yeah, if you're fighting a left or
the
right
angle
wind,
changes.
yeah, the angle changes. If your release hand stays in place, but your bow hand for a right-hand shooter, if it moves off to the left, you can actually finish the job on a hinge release and get it over the breaking point.
That was a tough break for Adam.
Yeah.
Oh,
I still think his only chance was for Stefan to shoot a 28 that end, and he had to have a 30, and that was the only prayer.
Well, now he's left to only one thing to do, which is just bear down, shoot 10, 10, 10, and then try to block one of Stefan's arrows. Okay, wait, never mind. I didn't say that out loud.
Here's an interesting question. GT and Steve, who on the field of play would win in a pie eating contest? Not Stefan, unless he's Kobayashi type.
No, he said on the field
small.
of play, so that counts coaches, right?
We'll go with athletes. Just
Samo
for,
Medved.
I don't know who that is.
Samo Medved. I'm telling you right now, Samo.
Well, if we're talking these remaining
All
8
right, let me
athletes.
tell you the story of Samo Medved, just briefly.
Here
Samo
we
shot
go.
in the 1996 Olympic Games. He's the coach right now for one of the European teams, okay? Samo was interviewed by a AP reporter at the Atlanta Olympic Games, and he was asked, now Samo's a big guy, okay? He's about your height, not quite, and double your size. I mean, he's just a huge human being, strong, powerful man. And he looks at the reporter and he goes, "When I am imagining shooting the 10, I imagine a large beer, my favorite beer. So I shoot at my favorite beer and I shoot the 10. So Samo's a good candidate to win any eating contest ever.
It's a different approach than I would take, but interesting question nonetheless.
I don't think it was the best answer from the standpoint of representing the athleticism of our sport, but it was popular.
Here's another good one. What are your thoughts on Rio, and do you think it will be ready for the Olympics? What will the conditions be like? So, we saw in maybe it's completely irrelevant, but the 2014 FIFA World Cup there had a lot of stadiums that were just getting finished up as competition was getting underway. The last Winter Olympics had a lot of the athletes' residencies that were unfinished, and do you think Rio will be all prepped and ready to rock?
Rio will be ready for the Olympics, at least as far as archery is concerned. I have no doubt about that. Between the World Archery team and the team putting together the games, the archery event in Rio will absolutely be ready. That's all I'm saying about that. There was another question here that I kind of liked. Let's back up. See, I like that answer. That's alcohol abuse and a waste of beer. True. Water is not currently safe for competitions, and what?
Yeah, they're saying there's a high level of bacteria.
They said the same thing about Barcelona. I'm sorry, but, there's always going to be some people who are anti-Olympics, and we're done discussing that. Who tells the dirtiest jokes amongst the pros? Should we name names? I think that probably we should not.
I don't want to ruin anyone's perception of anyone else.
Exactly. You don't tell very many jokes of that nature.
No.
You don't. I've never heard you tell very many off-color jokes.
Here's a good comment. Can't wait to see Erica Jones versus Sarah Lopez when Erica comes back. Erica just had a baby. Who knows what happens to an archer after that? They may just.
I hope for our sport that she chooses to make the effort to come back. But you know what? Let her enjoy her family life right now, and she'll make a decision about that sooner or later, and we'll know.
Yeah, I mean, when one comes, it's very possible that another.
We share the sentiment that we'll love to see her again on the archery field, either as a contributor to the sport in some other way, or continuing her great legacy as a top competitor.
Definitely.
Best wishes to Erica Jones.
Stefan celebrating a victory. He's going to be in the gold medal final on Saturday. Well deserved.
Yeah. That's a huge win for Stefan, and there's no question about it. The crowd appreciated it. It's a 6-point win, so there's no question about it. Stefan Hansen has earned his way into the final.
I like his chances there, too.
In just a moment, we'll see if any shoot-offs might be required here.
I think we're going to see the Indian archer Rajat Chauhan in the final as well. He had a pretty huge lead over Camilo Cardona.
Yeah, 4 points there.
Yeah.
Let's just take an eyeball on the targets down there.
If we see anything on the tied match between Sarah Lopez and Crystal Galvin, we'll give you the info. But I see that Crystal has one arrow that looks
done
far
deal
out.
on 29 and 30, as you just called it. Just give me a heads up on the target that I'm looking for Crystal.
Crystal will be 5 and 6, her and Sarah Lopez. And we also have archers on 11 and 12.
Yeah, I've got technical equipment in the way, so I can't quite spot that one. Let's see, Crystal's got a 10-10-8. Sarah has a phone pole in the way. Sorry. She does have one high 9.
They actually just pointed towards Crystal Galvin as the winner, so that seems... I'm going to wait till the results come in.
Let's wait. They were tied.
Yeah, and with a 10-10-8.
Well, Crystal had an 8, but, unfortunately, because of the layout of the field, I can't see target number 6 from my position.
Yeah, and Sarah just flipped to a 144. They may have a draw.
Yeah, it's very possible. Let's see what happens here. I don't see any hugs. Watch for it. Oh, Crystal by 1.
Crystal takes the win, and we'll go to the gold medal
Nicely
match.
done, Crystal Galvin of the United States.
It's a big win over Sarah Lopez, who was the easy favorite here.
For sure, but boy, that's a turnaround, huh? Remarkable.
Yeah.
And we're just waiting for the rest of the official scores to roll across the screen here. Here it is. It's victory for Stefan Hansen. He will shoot for gold. His opponent for the gold medal is going to be Rajat Chauhan of India.
And we've had a lot of Indian commentators here on the live stream.
Yeah,
so.
it's great to have that kind of attention from India. Welcome, everybody. And Steve, I know they want to know more about Rajat.
Yeah, Rajat, we talked about him a little bit earlier in the show. I can't say I know a whole lot about him. I do know he was a World Cup finalist last year, so he was top 8 in the World Cup standings. Competed in Lausanne. Didn't have any success there, but he made it there, and that's a pretty big accomplishment. He has been training in Salt Lake around us a little bit, so he's worked a little bit with the Hoyt and Easton crews.
Yeah, specifically working with D. Wild to try to up the ante as far as the ability of the team.
Yeah, they had their whole compound team out there for 8 or 9 days, I believe, and did some work out there with D.
Yeah, I know that they were looking for a coach last year. Is that right? Yeah, preparing for the Asian Games.
Yeah, and Rajat actually, just if I'm not mistaken, I was told he recently broke the Indian national record with a 7-11. It's a great score. So,
all right, we're going to finish up right now. We will be back for the recurves at 3:45. So, from beautiful Copenhagen, also known officially as Wonderful Copenhagen, I'm George Tekmitchov with Steve the Big Cat Anderson.
Catch you later.
Have a good afternoon.